The Indonesian government launched a new economic stimulus worth 16.23 trillion rupiah, or about $1 billion last week to accelerate economic growth amid signs of economic slowdown.
Hadir dalam rapat bersama Bapak Presiden.
The stimulus package was announced by Coordinating Minister for Economy Erlangga Hartarto following a meeting with President Prabowo Subianto on Monday. The stimulus package consists of 8 short-term acceleration programs to be carried out until the end of 2025, 4 extension programs in 2026, and 5 longer-term initiatives to provide jobs for the country's large workforce. The 8 short-term programs are, among others, to provide internship program for 20,000 university graduates across the country to give them the required skills to the demand of the business sector. The internship program will be carried for 1 year in cooperation with local industries. For this program, the government has allocated a budget of 198 billion rupiah, partly to pay a pocket money equal to an average monthly minimum wage of about 3.5 million rupiah to the participants. The second program includes a 100% tax income subsidy to 552,000 employees working in tourism industry, including hotels and restaurants. For this program, the government has allocated a budget of about 120 billion rupiah, the Chief Economic Minister Erlangga said. The government will also provide food aid, 10 kg of rice each to less advantaged families across the country for 2 months, namely October and November, with a budget allocation of 7 trillion rupiah. In addition, the government will also provide subsidized social security for online taxi drivers, including work accident and death benefits through the State Social Security Agency BPJS Ketenagakerjaan. This subsidy will reduce the cost of these essential protection schemes for informal workers, aims to increase the low registration rates among drivers, and will be integrated into a broader stimulus package. As part of the stimulus package, the government will also carry out a Cash for Work program through Public Works and Housing and Transportation Ministries. The program, which will focus on building infrastructure and housing projects, is intended to provide jobs for more than 600,000 people between September and December this year, Erlangga said. He hopes that the stimulus measures will help the government achieve its 5.2% economic growth targets this year. The gross domestic product accelerated to 5.12% in the second quarter from 4.87% in the previous quarter, but economists have warned an imminent slowdown in the next quarter. In general, the economic package received a positive response from economic observers, who say that the stimulus package is not merely intended to boost economic growth, but also as a form of a political gesture to calm public unrest following recent major protests. The chairperson of the Indonesian Employers Associations, or APindo, Sinta Kamdani, also welcomed the stimulus package, but she said that the program should not only focus on efforts to increase household consumption, but also be able to empower small and medium-scale companies to grow. She also acknowledged that the business world does not need incentives to accelerate growth, but structural improvements are equally important. In order to accelerate investment, the government needs to reduce high-cost structures and simplify regulations.
The government announced an economic stimulus package last week as part of initiatives to revive the country's economy amid a sign of an imminent slowdown. Our guest today, Fithra Faisal Hastiadi, a spokesperson on economy at the Presidential Communication Agency. He will explain details and purposes of the stimulus policy. Hello, Pak Fithra. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Yeah, Mbak Valena.
All right. Now, our first question is the government announced last week an economic stimulus package covering a wide range of programs. What are the immediate impacts the government expects from the stimulus initiative?
Yeah, of course, we need to stipulate the demand, which is, if we compare it to the second quarter of this year, the demand is already quite robust, but we need to maintain the growth momentum. If we can see from the performance of the consumption sector in Q1 this year, the growth is just suboptimal. It's actually below the economic growth, 4.95% in the first quarter of the year, and the 4.97% in the second quarter. So if you compare it with the economic growth, 5.12%, this is considered as a suboptimal condition. So we need to push the demand side even further in order to push the economy, because of more than 50% of the overall contribution for the economy is coming from the consumption. But of course, if we see also for the 8 plus 5 or plus 5 plus 4 plus 5 stimulus package, it's not only for the demand side, but it's also for the supply side. As we can see, the deregulation for the government rule regulation in PP 28 is actually coming into force, because we need to deregulate the business environment in order to push the economy. And not only that, through the stimulus package, the government is aiming also to increase the infrastructure productivity and also the infrastructure project. We have the so-called cash for work. Yeah? So we need to employ as many people as possible in infrastructure projects in order to stimulate not only the supply side, but also the demand side. So we have disposable income in one side and also the supply side in the other end. If you see the timeline, this is also very much in line with what the Minister of Finance have been doing earlier since his inauguration time, when the government are trying to place 200 trillion of rupiahs before it was actually placed all of the government account in the central bank. But now we're trying to put almost half of the government account to the banking sector. So the liquidity, and so we need to push the liquidity so that the money multiplier will be increasing later on. So that's actually the way to push the economy from the liquidity monetary side and also from the supply side, so that liquidity can be actually absorbed through this real sector with the fiscal stimulus. The idea is, if the real sector is now active, yeah, we have the activity in the real sector, this can increase the demand for credit from the banking sector. While at the same time, the banking sector is having an ample liquidity coming from the government account. So this can be translated towards higher growth in the third and the fourth quarter this year. Mbak Vale.
Okay, the stimulus package is only temporary and does not cover fundamental aspects in economy. Do you think such a short-term program will be able to help revive the economy in the third quarter this year?
So long run is being created by the series of short-run intervention. So what the government is doing now is trying to intervene in the short run in order to bridge the long run. So we now is pushing the demand side as well as the supply side. So this will create a foundation for the economic growth in the future. So at the current condition, we need to stipulate the idle resources in the economy. So the idle resources in the terms of liquidity is actually trying to be pushed through the banking sector. And also the other resources, which is we are actually facing unemployment everywhere, right? Since last year, because of the informalities is being actually bigger. So formality, the informal sectors now is even bigger than formal sectors because of the industry is being constrained by the cost of production. But now we are trying to push the demand side and as well as the supply side to create the foundation for the future. So the series of intervention in the short run can become the foundation of the long run. Uh, so with doing so, we are creating the path towards a sustainable economy and a sustainable industrialization in the future. Fale.
Okay, what is also interesting in this stimulus package is the insurance policy for Social Security online taxi drivers, including work accident and death benefits. How big is this insurance subsidy and how many of the taxi drivers will benefit from it?
So we are aiming to have a 731,000 of people being benefited through this package for the drivers, yeah, to Gojek drivers through the subsidy and incentive towards the some basic insurance that they need to have because not so long ago they have some concerns. Yeah, this drivers are actually having some concerns on how they can cope with day-to-day activities. They are not very secure in a way that they are not insured. So that's why the government is trying to cover a part of their insurance, especially the death insurance and also the work insurance, so that they can be actually safe in the field. So we have all in all 36 billion of rupiahs being covered coming from BPJS, and it will be covering 731,000 of people of these drivers, online drivers. Mbak.
Okay. There will also be an internship program for 20,000 university fresh graduates for a year in cooperation with industries. As most of big industries are located in Java, how can the fresh graduates outside Java benefit from the program?
So it is very inclusive. It's not only in Java, but also outside of Java. We are actually not concerned, yeah, about the industrial concentration that is actually primarily located in Java because we have a widespread economic activity nowadays because of the investment are coming not only to Java but also outside of Java. If you see the economic growth nowadays and also the investment coming towards Indonesia, 49% in Java and 51% outside of Java. So it's becoming more diverse. It's not too much concentrated in Java anymore, but we have a more diversified economic activities outside of Java. So we are not that concerned with that kind of concentration. And it's inclusive because based on the data we have from the bottom layer of income to the 50% of the bottom income level being covered for this internship program. 20,000 of people being covered. So fresh graduate, meaning that they graduate less than 1 year, is actually subject to the program. So we are trying also to bridge the gap, yeah, the skill capacity between the university and also the industrial needs, because most of the time what is coming from the university, polytechnics, and also vocational school is not really compatible with the industrial needs. So therefore, we need this internship program in order to bridge the skill, in order to bridge the compatibility between university, polytechnics, and vocational school and other educational institution inside Java and outside Java in order to be compatible with the industrial needs, so that we are actually already having a collaboration with the Employers Association as well as the Chambers of Commerce. So it's not an issue anymore, Mbak Fale.
Okay, a large number of people have lost their jobs this year due to the closure of many major companies. Why are the victims of layoff not covered under the new stimulus program?
It's already covered because we have the cash for work, yeah, aiming for people that is being out of work for the last 1 year. Yeah, we're trying to create jobs through infrastructure projects. Not only that, the gig economy, the gig sector is being also covered by the stimulus package. And then we have 8 plus 4 plus 5. The 5 is directly affecting the employment creation in sectors, several sectors. For example, in red white cooperatives, especially in village, it is projected to have 1,385,000 of people being employed until the end of the year. And then we have also the fisherman village, also tackling about 160,000 of people. And then we have also the revitalization of the hatcheries throughout Pantura can cover also 200,000 of people employed. And then we have also the agricultural sectors, yeah, and also several sectors that can actually absorb 2 million of people until the next 2 years. So that is actually the coping mechanism towards the people being unemployed since several years. Then we are trying to push them into the economic sector, especially the formal sector of economy, so that their income can be also leveraged. Mbak Valerina.
All right. Thank you very much, Pa Fithra, for speaking to TVR World today.